All right, guys, we are moving right along here to another couple of right guards here. We looked at the best one already. He's, to me, clearly the best right guard prospect in this draft and the one right guard who I think has a really good chance of going in the second round. But there are other really good guys here as well. We've got Christian Mahogany, Boston College. They've been a little bit of an offensive line factory lately, and this is their latest product. 23 years old, 6'3", 314 pounds, 33.5-inch arms, pretty nice. Nice big hands as well, 10.5 inches. His testing numbers were good. Some of them were great. 40 time was good. 10-yard split was really good. Vertical was great, 32.5 inches. By the way, these percentages, these percentiles, are for all guards, all guards, left and right. So they're even more impressive here. Excuse me, because they're compared to left and right guards. Broad, 9 foot 1 inch, 86th percentile. Three cone wasn't great, which is not what you're hoping for when you're talking about offensive linemen that play in space, but 20-yard shuttle was really good, 89th percentile. So a couple big boards have him in the top 100. ESPN has him all the way down in 200. I think they're way off there. CBS has him in the fourth. Mock Draft Database has him barely hanging out in the top 100, 99th right now. So they think he's probably going to get in the third round, but barely. And I think that's probably going to happen here. Last 2 years, he's played well, not allowed a lot in pass protection, allowed a grand total of 7 pressures in 2022 and 7 pressures in 2023. So been pretty clean, been pretty good in that regard. He's got a lot of power in his punches. He's got a lot of power when he hits. He packs a lot of power when he makes contact with the defender. He's excellent pulling across the line of scrimmage. He's definitely somebody who understands that stuff. It's not just about agility. It's also about being able to hit a target. It's about being able to keep balanced when you're in space, and he does these things really well. When he pulls across the line of scrimmage and lays a block, it's very successful. He protects really well. He's got great usage of his hands when he's in pass protection. The punch is very strong, and it's well aimed. He's quick off the snap. He goes from in his stance to the snap very quickly. He climbs up to the second level well, hitting linebackers and even some defensive backs. Cerebral in handling blitzes, understands how to keep his head on a swivel, look around, and lay blocks. And he anchors down against bull rushers really well. So he brings a lot of the stuff that Haynes does as well. There's a lot of similarities here. I think that Haynes is clearly better, but you look at Mahogany as a player, and it's very clear that he's got a great chance to be good in the NFL. Some of his issues would be leverage, which you wouldn't necessarily expect since he's 6'3", but he needs to sink his hips better. He needs to get down a little bit lower so he can win the leverage battle. Sometimes it feels like he plays a little bit out of control. He can get caught leaning. He can get caught off balance, and that puts him in bad situations. His footwork needs some improvement as well, I feel like, when he's sliding laterally, which can come, but he just needs to learn how to be in a little bit better control of his movement, I feel like. Athletic linemen do give him problems, I feel like, which he's athletic himself, relatively speaking, so you would hope that's something that could be improved on, but also be aware that there aren't that many athletic one-techs out there that would give him trouble because he's playing right guard. So he's a strong prospect for sure. I think that he has versatility. I think he can excel in a zone scheme. I think he can excel in a gap scheme. I think he can do both sides. I don't think he has the stud potential of Haynes. Like, I could see Haynes becoming a top 3 right guard in this league. Mahogany, I don't know if I see it. I think the floor is just a little bit similar and the ceiling's a little bit lower. But I think he will be a good player. I think he'll be a very good player, in fact. And personally, mid-third round and on feels appropriate. I like him a little bit more than the database does right now. I would take him in the mid-third round and feel okay about that because I have a pretty good feeling about what I'm getting. I feel like I'm getting somebody who can definitely start in this league, if not right now, then down the line. All right, so there's one more guard who I suspect will go in the top 100. And as of right now, he's ranked right outside the top 100, but I feel like he's going to end up in there. It's Zak Zinter, yet another Michigan Wolverine offensive lineman. Basically, every one of them is going to be involved in this draft in one way or another, and Zinter might be the most appealing He definitely would be if he didn't break his leg, and that needs to be talked about when it comes to Zak Zinter here. He is coming off a pretty major leg injury, but before then, he was playing some really good football. 23 years old, 6'6". That's a little bit of a alarm bell. We'll come back to that. 309 pounds, 33.5-inch arms, 9 and 3/8-inch hands. So the measurements, I mean, the height is, he's going to have to play around that, but some players can. DJ Fluker was able to do it. Zak Zinter might be able to do it too. ESPN loves him. They still have him in the late second. Walter Football has him in the third. CBS has him in the fourth, and PFF has him in the fifth. So it's all over the place, which is totally understandable because he's a really good player who just suffered a major injury. The mock draft database has him right at the back end of the third or right at the start of the fourth, which I could see that. I feel like he creeps up a little bit into the third round, but there's a lot of confusion here with good reason. The performance over the last 2 years has been good for Michigan. The 2023 numbers are skewed because he didn't play the whole year because he got hurt, but 5 hurries allowed in the limited amount of time he did play. It was an improvement over what he was doing in 2022, even on a per snap basis, where he allowed 2 sacks, 1 hit, 6 hurries. So he did improve, and he was headed towards a really good draft evaluation before the injury as well. So Zinter is well built for interior line work. I know he's only 309 pounds, but he carries it well. He's got a good build. He's proven to be adept in landing second-level blocks. When you look at him do it on the tape, it looks fairly good. It doesn't look amazing, and we don't have testing numbers to look at to see how athletic he is, but it looks fine on tape. He's got enough strength to handle the stronger linemen. So again, this is another right guard who is bringing multiple elements of the position to the table. It seems like he'll be able to do both gap-based stuff and zone-based stuff. He's advanced in technique on using his hands. He understands how to use punches. He understands how to use hand placement in order to win a rep. He's got good contact balance. He's not somebody who he's not somebody who's going to get knocked off balance very easily. He's somebody who knows how to square up and really anchor down. So when he makes contact, he's still keeping steady. So Zinter's great. He is coming off that big leg injury, which is going to be a concern. Is he going to be ready for camp? Is he going to be ready for the first game? We don't know. He will have some difficulties in handling pass rushers. He is more of a traditional right guard, I feel like, even though there is some nice athletic stuff here. He will have some difficulties with the better pass rushers, the guys who can set up like counter moves and can get him leaning, get him off balance, and then get a swim around him. Lateral movement is not great. Again, he's a right guard, so it's not the end of the world, but his lateral movement is a little bit sluggish. Overall, I don't think he's a great athlete, although we didn't get testing numbers, so we can't be sure. And his height will create leverage concerns. If you're 6'6" playing inside, that's tough. You better be able to get down low, especially when you're playing inside. On the outside, it's a little easier to get away with. So I don't think this guy has the upper level potential of Mahogany or Haynes, but he's clearly very good. And while I do think he will find his best success as a run blocker in a gap-based scheme, I think he offers flexibility, and that flexibility cannot be ignored by any team that might need a right guard. So I think he's worth a late third-round pick. For the Seahawks, I would wait until the fourth round because it's not the ideal fit. You don't need to be pulling the trigger early on a guy who isn't an exact fit into what you're trying to do here. But good player for sure, definitely belongs in the top 100 in my opinion. All right, we're going to do some more right guards later, but that's it for the top 100. Let me know what you think down below. See you guys later. Go Hawks.